Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
So I was dating this dude. He comes to spend the weekend at my house. I had to work the next morning. So I get up for work and my whole house smells like shit. It smells worse in my bedroom, but the whole entire house stink. And I'm like, why the fuck does my house smell like shit? Like, what the fuck? Did you use the bathroom with the door open? Whatever the fuck. He studied saying he don't know. So I hurry up and get to work because I'm already running late. I come home from work and the house smells like bleach. So bad that my head is hurt. I'm getting lightheaded and dizzy. And I'm like, what the fuck? When I left, it smelled like shit. Come home, it smells like bleach. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Y'all, I was not ready. This motherfucker shitted in my bed. And instead of taking my blankets up and washing them, this motherfucker just poured bleach on it. And if you know me, you know everything I got is colorful. So needless to say, he ruined my bedding. Literally was a shitty situation. You shitted in my bed and then...
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your...
This is really sensitive to me, and I really mean this whole honestly. My ex would spy on me through video cameras and tracking devices. Now, I was 18 and 19 at the time. He had to at least be about 25, 26. Mind you, I'm a baby. I just got out of high school, okay? So we moved in together. Things are going rocky as hell. He's really projecting his whole insecurities on me. I'm gonna try to make this quick, okay? I remember we were like arguing about a week straight. So, you know, to make it up, I would really have to like, you know, try to get him to talk to me. I was like, I remember I was apologizing for something I really didn't cause. Like, you were really just projecting your insecurities onto me. And this is important. We had dark oak wood bed, okay? I remember sitting on top of him, and I don't know what possessed me to look up on like the tip of the bed, the headboard type, okay? So when I look up, like this little bitty black thing dot is sitting on the bed. What the hell is it? So I pull it. When I tell y'all death stared me in the face, this man has been recording me the whole relationship on the bed, on the printer, in the living room.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life? It doesn't have...
We can start off this by saying, should have pieced it together that he was insane when I showed up at his house one day, and there was an ambulance and a sheriff in front. Apparently his neighbor passed away. After they left, I realized he wasn't in his house, so I go over to the neighbor's house, and I look in the door, which shouldn't have done, but look in the door, and this man was standing over the dead body, just staring down, just happy as all can be. And then to follow what he did to me, besides beating my ass on multiple occasions, sends me pictures of my apartments constantly, threatened to kill me, threatened to kill my family, tried to run me off the road on multiple occasions, sent me a printout schedule of my work hours, saying it'd be a shame if you were to just get driven off the road, following by trying to run me off the road, trying to run me over physically in front of the bar I go to constantly, trying to ram my truck at the bar constantly, and the list goes on and on and on.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life? It doesn't have to...
Okay, so when me and my ex met, I was 18 and he was 24. When I was 18, I was not a good person. When he was 24, he wasn't a good person. So our relationship, the first 3 years, started off shitty. We were fucking each other over. It was a tit for tat kind of thing. Fast forward, we break up for 2 years. He dates somebody else. I mess with other people. During the time we aren't together, that's when I realized I truly do want this man, and I have an epiphany, and I realize everything that I did wrong, how much better to him I could have been. And so I tell myself, if I get another shot with this man, I'm going to be completely different, and I'm going to show him I can be a good wife. Lo and behold, he comes back to me, but he's completely different now. He's not the same man I dated when I was 18. He doesn't treat me the same. He don't look at me the same way. And I noticed this shit immediately. But I wanted him so bad. I loved him so bad. I said to myself, if I can just be perfect for him, maybe he'll go back to that. But he doesn't. I spend the next 3 years trying to be perfect, constantly apologizing for shit. It just felt like I couldn't do nothing right for him. Towards the end of our 3 years together, I guess we were both done. You know, I'm pretty much tired of trying. He's done. We're laid up in bed. It's July 4th, and I get an email, and it's from his ex. I open the email up. She lays it all out for me. Apparently, they had been fucking around since the first of the year. When I found out that he had been cheating on me, I wasn't even hurt, I swear to God. I was more enraged at his gall, but I wasn't hurt. It upset me the way he cheated on me. You know, it's one thing to cheat on somebody and then go back. It's another thing to consistently cheat on somebody for a year, talk shit about them and their mother to the person you're cheating on them with, and still come back and lay up in that person's bed and use up they goddamn shower water, utilities, eat up their food and smile in their face. Nigga, you done lost your fucking mind. That shit had me hot when it happened. But, yeah, that's what I'm gonna remember about him.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
So this actually happened right after my most recent breakup. I was up at his house for 2 extra days after we broke up. It was very awkward. I was crying the whole time. The night before I left, we were cuddling on the bed, and he, you know, gets a little aroused. And so he gets up and he tells me, like, I'm gonna go get some water. And I'm like, okay. And then, like, his bathroom was right next to his bedroom door. And I could hear him, choking the chicken, so to speak. And so I texted him. I was like, hey, I can hear you, but his phone was in the bedroom with me. And it was the most horrifying 5 minutes.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
He told me, this is my ex-husband, by the way. He told me that at 140 pounds, that I was too fat to be sexually attractive. You may ask yourself, I wonder where he was sitting at on the scale. Well over 300 pounds. City. But now I will forever think that I myself cannot be over 140 pounds because it's too fat.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
So we're going to ignore all of the actually traumatizing shit that my ex said to me that will haunt me forever, and I want to tell my favorite story. It's just in here. So I met my ex when I was 16. We met on the internet. He was an age that probably shouldn't have been talking to a 16-year-old, but we're not talking about the traumatizing. So we're talking, and you know, the topic of size comes up, and you know, me being 16 and never being involved with a of any variety, I was just like, yeah, sassy talk. This man tells me 8.5 inches, and I go, terrified immediately. So fast forward to when I meet him for the first time, like in person, because he lived in Texas and I live in New Jersey. He's here, you know, we're whatever, getting down to business, and he unveils his that he once said was 8.5 inches. Like maybe less than half that. It's not the size, it's what you do with it, but like, that was an egregious lie. So again, not really knowing what to do with the information in the first place, I was kind of just like, oh, and like, in my brain, relieved, because 8.5 inches, oh, no. And this man looks me in my eyes, in my doughy 16-year-old eyes, and tells me it shrunk on the plane. The plane took it. I continued to date that man for the better part of 9 years, and we never talked about that again. We never addressed it. I never brought it up, because even at 16 years old, I was like, that's bullshit, and I do not have the capacity to unpack that right now. So it was literally my sleep paralysis demon for 9 years. The plane.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life? It doesn't have.
Okay, so it wasn't like a boyfriend. It was somebody that I saw for a very short amount of time, because every time we would hook up, you know, end of show, all right? And he would look at me and be like, hey, thanks for being so vulnerable with me. What? That was all the rock and roll coming out of that. What? Thanks for being so vulnerable with me? What did I do? What did I say? What did I look like? Why are you telling me I'm being brave? Why are you telling me in a way like, love your confidence, thanks for being so vulnerable with me? Thanks for being so vulnerable with me? Thanks for being so vulnerable with me? What the hell was vulnerable? I didn't. What did I do? What'd I say? What'd I do? What'd I say? I get you're trying to be nice. I think you're thinking this is nice. Be mean to me then, if this is kindness.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
So this is literally the most perfect story as to how bad my ex was, like, at the core, which then transferred into, like, how bad he treated me. So I'd been having a lot of conversations with him, like, numerous, like, hey, if you're not black, like, you can't say the N-word. Like, it's a no for me, dog. And he'd literally be like, I'm a minority, I'm oppressed, they're oppressed, like, I'm claiming back that word with them. And I was like, no, does not work that way. But one time, we're literally driving, okay? And then he stops in the middle of an intersection and goes, I'm not driving the car until you say the N-word. And I was like, what the fuck? He's like, I'm not driving until you say the N-word. And I was like, no. And so much time went by, he got mad. He was like, now you have to say it with the hard R. And I was literally like, what the fuck? My life is literally at risk right now, and you're asking me to say a slur?
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life? It doesn't have.
She sympathized with the woman that lied about Emmett Till. She specifically said it must have been so hard for her to carry that secret all those years. That is the story I tell when I tell people that I don't think I will ever date a white woman again. Because she sympathized more with the lying white woman than the black boy that was killed. So yeah, I think about that one a lot.
What is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
So after I broke up with my abusive ex, I was really trying to distract myself because I had a tendency of going back. This is what happens when people have abusive partners that gaslight. Anyways, so I left him. I'm trying to distract myself. I'm going out with friends. We're doing stuff. So me and a friend ended up at an ice rink. We're just killing time, hanging out, whatever. And I get a text from my ex and I choose to ignore it, but I read it and it said he was in the parking lot of where I was. So I'm like, okay, stalker, cool. And then I get a phone call, which I tried to ignore, but I ended up answering, and he tells me he's in the parking lot with a knife to his throat, and if I don't come outside, he's gonna kill himself.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
Oh, probably when she would have me take her to the airport to go visit her family in Mexico, and then she would bring me back these, like, souvenir coffee cups from the trips. Like, they would go on trips to, like, Utah and Colorado together, and she would bring me back all of these coffee cups. So I had an entire cabinet full of these, like, memorable coffee cups from the trips that she would go on with her family. And then fast forward to me finding out that she was not going on trips with her family. She was actually in a 13-year-long relationship, and I was taking her to the airport to go visit her actual girlfriend. Also, this is after she proposed to me.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life? It doesn't have to.
Fucking hell, TikTok. I know I'm depressed, but can you stop these videos, please? I'm gonna need a drink for this. She told me she wasn't gonna fight for me, after knowing that I struggle with abandonment issues. I told her that I was tired of being the one putting all the energy into the relationship, the only one fighting for this relationship, the only one fighting for us, and that it was her turn. That if she put in the work, she did some changes, that we could get back together. And she told me she wasn't going to do it, because she was afraid she would lose. To which I told her, then you've already lost me. And now I feel like I'm not worth fighting for. Yeah.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
Every time we were in an argument, if I got a little too loud, he would just shove his fist down my throat, and then I couldn't talk. He'd leave it there for a long time, but then if I was still a little too loud, he would cover my nose to where I couldn't breathe. I passed out a couple times.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
So my ex and I dated when I lived in Tallahassee. We were both in college at the time. He went to FAMU and he was in the marching band, you know, the Marching 100. So we ended up breaking up because I graduated and we both mutually decided we didn't want to do the long distance thing because I was going back home. But I would still go up there to see him from time to time and we were still very much emotionally connected. So this one particular time I rented a car, drove like the 3.5 hours to go and see him. And when I get there, I find out that he's been texting this dude. And like I said, we were so emotionally involved. So I was like, what you doing texting this dude? Like, what is going on here? Like, what's so special about this dude? Guess what my ex said to me? This man said to me, well, he plays the clarinet and you play Pokemon.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
I won't say that it'll haunt me forever, but it's been 2 months and I'm still not over it. I hooked up with this guy and on his way out, I saw him put his socks on. And I remember him looking for his socks, but he put his socks on. And so a while later, I'm doing laundry and I find this Nike sock that I don't recognize. And it's clearly a man's sock. And I'm like, hey, like, did you leave your sock behind? He's like, oh yeah, I couldn't find one of my socks. And so I know he must have took my sock, but enough time had passed that I couldn't remember what pair of socks I was wearing that day when he stole them. So there is a pair of socks somewhere in my home that is no longer a pair and will never be a pair because I'm not calling him back. And that bothers me to not know which fucking sock it is.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
So I have a hard boundary with everyone in my life who spends any amount of time around me physically. Do not jump scare me. Do not jump out of doorways, come up behind me. Do not jump scare me on purpose. If you do it on accident, fine. You know, you didn't do it intentionally. This is a very hard boundary that I have. And I have had it for years, and I had it the entire time I was dating my ex, and he literally never respected it. He repeatedly jump scared me because he thought it was hilarious. And, you know, that just kind of makes you think. Because that is a very hard boundary that I have. And I don't have a lot of like really hard, absolutely under no circumstances ever do this boundaries, but that's one of them. And he literally wouldn't respect it. So like, what would he have done if he'd had more time with me or we got married, right?
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
He groomed my daughter. He spent 6 months trying to convince me that I am just super needy as a person. And sadly, it took me 6 months to realize that he wasn't interested in me. He was interested in my 10-year-old. He conned me. I was conned. You can go ahead and tuck all those judgmental comments about me as a mother back in, because until you've been conned, you don't know how you would act in that situation. Thankfully, I realized before it was too late. Changed the locks, kicked his ass out, never saw him again. I guess I'm just not into men who would prefer my daughter over me. And yes, it will haunt me for the rest of my life.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
So this was the first thing that I would have to say that I ever had happen to me by my ex-husband that I never could get over. And it was probably the start of the slow demise that was my marriage. About a month after the birth of our daughter, I was diagnosed with postpartum depression, pretty severe postpartum depression. And so, you know, I cried a lot. I couldn't really stand to be around our daughter. And 2 months in, after she was born, my ex-husband decided to go on a hunting trip. So I begged him for a week, please don't go on this trip. I can't do this alone. You know, I need your help. I'm not going to be able to take care of her. And he swore up and down, you'll be fine. It'll be okay. So the day that he was supposed to leave, I am standing on the front porch, holding Faith in my arms while she cries. I'm crying hysterically. at him, begging him not to go. He gets into his truck. He's telling me the whole time, it'll be fine. You'll be okay. I had nobody to help me. And he drove off for a 2-week trip. I never forgave him for that. And I had the toughest time taking care of our daughter. I had nobody to help me. His parents weren't of great use because they both worked. I called my grandmother to come help me at some point because I just couldn't function. You know, if you've ever had postpartum depression, it is really hard to function. And so that was the start of the downhill slide of our marriage, to me, in my head. So if you've ever had postpartum depression, I totally sympathize with you. I know how hard it is, but it does get better. But it also helps to have a partner who sympathizes with you.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
I think about this every time I take a shower. One time we were taking a shower and this man sat down on the little bench that is in my shower. And when he got up, there was a poop stain on the seat. And he tried to cover it up. But I saw it, and I think about it every time I'm in the shower.
Okay, what is one thing your ex did or a memory you have of them that will haunt you for the rest of your life?
Okay, so I dated this kid very casually in high school, and he took me out trick-or-treating. We were really young. And he decides to lean in for a kiss, and at this point he decides it's a good idea to take a whole ass chewed Kit Kat and spit it into my mouth. Into my mouth. I was not anticipating this. There was no warning. Okay, it just happened. And I sort of panic swallowed it. And to be clear, this isn't a kink shame. I mean, if that's your thing, cool. It's not mine. Not mine. Needless to say, we didn't date very long after that.